Is she distracting you in any way?
I mean, I'm just saying, when I sat down, I'm like, ooh, Lord. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what side of the world you're in. I'm HalfLifeSistah, and this is my hubby Wolf Kane.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to my channel and to another episode of Sistah and the Wolf Rags. Yeah. All right, so forget what you've seen before this video. I need you all to know that this is the accurate color of my skin, okay? I am brown, not caramel, not orange, not apricot. I'm brown. Okay, so we were playing around with the camera, you know, off and on. A lot of times our reactions are delayed because we just can't seem to get this camera to work right. And I think we finally got it. We finally understand what it takes to light up our space properly with the lighting and make the camera do what it's supposed to do. Capture our skin tone and everything else the way it's supposed to capture it. So I'm very happy.
All the videos you see on YouTube saying that the M50 is hard to learn are correct.
It is absolutely correct, yeah.
What's also correct is once you figure it out, it actually works pretty well.
Yeah, look at us. I mean, I'm brown, okay?
It
brown.
took us 10 reactions to figure it out.
And guys, honestly though, usually when we're done, when we're editing the video, I have to add filter on top of filter on top of filter just to get it as close as possible to my actual color under lighting. And now I don't have to do that. I'm so very happy. Thank you, Wolf, for all of your hard work.
I'm not as happy as me. Anyway, we got a package.
We got a package.
We got a
package.
package.
That's where you told me that.
Let's have some fun
I'm
before we start
excited.
this real quick.
Yeah, let's do it, baby. All right, so today we're doing a patron reaction for my sweet Vicky. Thank you, baby. Thanks so much for the love and support. And the band is In This Moment.
You're a little familiar with them.
I am.
On your Twitch stream, people are allowed to request songs, and I believe they've requested this band before.
Yes.
Do you know anything about her, or you just basically heard the song?
I just know that she is out the box, according to my friend who explains, you know, her personality or her, you know, the way she is to me.
Mm-hmm.
She's out the box. She's very edgy. She's very raw, and I think she's also openly bi and very fluid and just really awesome.
She's openly bi?
Yes.
Okay.
To my knowledge, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Have you told people that you're openly bi as well?
It's never been a topic of discussion, but yeah, I am openly bi. Yeah, I have no shame in it.
Yeah, there's no secret in that.
Right.
Is she distracting you in any way?
I mean, I'm just saying, when I sat down, I'm like, ooh, Lord, is that who I think it is?
I did that on purpose, though.
You're horrible.
Distracting.
It's very distracting.
I tried to find the sexiest picture I could find.
Yeah, they're all sexy, but the one on the little video insert area, it's pretty tasty.
So I was on one of the streams where I saw I think they played that Billy Idol one she did, Black Wedding.
Yeah, I think that's one. Yeah, Black Wedding. Yeah, beautiful video as well.
I don't know if they played any others for you. This
No, that
one,
was it.
this one that she wants us to do is Horror.
Horror.
Does that ring a bell?
Not really.
Okay. All right. So I mean, we'll listen to it. If
Okay.
it's something you've already heard,
It'll just be considered a review.
we'll just review it instead of the reaction to it. We can
I'm
break it down a
excited
little
because
bit.
I want more of her.
Cool. I'm not very familiar, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
I've heard the Black Wedding one. I thought it was okay. I'm not. It's interesting because with female heavy metal singers, there's not a whole bunch. You come from a rhythm and blues, neo soul kind of background. A lot of females in that genre.
A lot of females, yes, they dominated.
So it's not like there's a void of females in music in general.
Yeah.
But when it comes to heavy metal singers particularly, there's not that many. And then on top of that, and this is purely my opinion, there's not that many really good ones.
Okay, it's your opinion.
They can sing. What I mean by good, I guess, is the kind of music that they play isn't necessarily for me. Like
is it
a popular.
too watered down?
Well, one band you heard, Hailstorm.
When?
Or Hailstorm.
When?
In the last Twitch stream, you said, "Oh, this is a cute girl in a van." She kind of comes from like that Lita Ford school of music where it's kind of like almost hair metal.
Gotcha. Yes.
Yeah. So
I liked her though.
Yeah, so she's very popular, but again, that's what I mean by not for me. Like that kind of music's not for me.
Gotcha. That's fine.
And Lita Ford, I loved her. I love who she was, the pioneer that she was. and you know, an amazing guitarist and a great shredder, but her music was also not for me.
Gotcha.
She did a duet with Ozzy, which is probably the thing I liked the most that she did. But her solo work I was never a huge fan of because it was a bit too, you know, it was a bit too of that kind of hair metal kind of poppy metal kind of vibe to me, which
hair metal.
yeah, not a fan of hair metal,
It's okay.
unfortunately.
It's all right.
So not sure what to expect here.
Okay. I have an idea what to expect.
I will have an open mind, of course.
So yummy.
Just to see what I'm talking about, if I pull up like a list of heavy metal singers, right? If I go on Wikipedia here, I went and I counted all the females. They got them here alphabetically. I counted about
all
150.
The females.
Heavy metal. Well, that's what it says here on Wikipedia. Maybe there's a couple more that aren't as popular,
Yeah.
but it says list of female heavy metal singers,
Really?
and it's in alphabetical order. And I'm looking through the list, and I see that there's some old, there's some new. One of my favorites I see here on the A is Maria, also known as Masha Scream for Arcona. That's a folk metal band that I love.
Okay.
My point that I'm making is not as many female singers in heavy metal. So I think they tend to stand out a little bit more when they do it.
When they are really good at it as well.
And when they're really good at it, I think they stand out even more.
Right.
And I think that's why there's such a demand for like bands like Ginger Pisces that we get a lot of
Right.
requests.
And people
Not
get-
Ginger Pisces, Ginger. The song is Pisces.
Pisces, yeah.
I think it's because there is something, even though like what makes Ginger more popular than another band and why they're getting requested so much, I think it has to do with the fact that it has a good female lead
Yeah,
metal
skill set,
singer.
Of course.
And that's something that's kind of rare.
And then, also, not that men are sexist or anyone is just sexist, but you gain more respect for that sister because she's got the vocal ability, she's got she's got the talent, to go along with the awesome band,
Yeah, I mean, maybe not so much now, but you have to assume back in the day it was harder
Yes,
for a woman
definitely,
to
absolutely,
get
I
into
imagine.
metal than to most
to be
men.
taken seriously.
To be taken seriously.
Of course.
Exactly.
Just like MMA female fighters, for a while they were under the radar.
Right, and now they're doing headlining and
that's
so
what's up. Indeed.
it's tough. It's tough business. Metal is again, you don't do it for the money, and early on, in a lot of ways, it's kind of a boys' club, and women, in order to get in, they got to kind of prove themselves a little bit harder than men would normally
I'm
have
just
to. It's a bit
distracted.
sexist.
I'm distracted. You need to hurry up. These two images of hers just killing me.
Okay.
I mean, it's just too much.
I'm getting a vibe from her that I've gotten before. If anyone remembers, one female singer I didn't see on the list, but maybe she's there, is Jen from Jenny Torturers. Not a huge fan of their music. I like their first album, and I like the first couple of songs that were on that album. And I thought they had an interesting gimmick and very sexually charged BDSM?
Looking at me, I don't know what that
S&M.
is.
S&M. I think BDSM is the large women. S&Ms,
The whips and stuff and chains. and
exactly,
bondage and
exactly.
whatnot.
Slaves
I
and
think
stuff like that, yeah. So I'm getting that kind of vibe from her here. I see she's got some goons in her
I
band.
see that.
S&M
I
charged to
love
them as well.
Dark stuff.
Very frightening looking
I
dudes.
love it. I think it's very.
I dig it. What do you make of that face mask there?
No.
It's cool. It gives me kind of a Mudvayne, Slipknot kind of kick your ass kind of vibe. It's cool. They're in a way, to me they're kind of in the background, kind of like supporting her,
I love that.
and
She's definitely the queen bee, though.
yeah, they're in those muted dark colors, and
Love
she's
that. It's so sexy.
popping with her colors.
Alpha female. Hello.
Definitely coming off as the alpha female.
Indeed,
But if you see Jen from Jenny Torturers, she's the alpha female.
Okay.
It's done in a way where it's about power and control and about the woman being in control.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's probably what we're getting here.
Okay.
All right, so here's a little bit about Maria. Maria Brink, that's her name, was born in 1977 and grew up in New York State.
Okay.
Her father disappeared when she was still very young. Disappeared?
Yeah, and disappeared.
Like,
Meaning he just left. You never saw him again after that.
but like killed? Like just no one knows what happened to
They're
him?
not
That's-
implying that.
it's
They're
a
just
way
saying
to...
he left. He
Okay.
just-
And Maria was left with her mother, who was heavily addicted to drugs, and as a result of severe depression, she drifted into rebellious behavior. Maria became pregnant at 14 and lived alone with son Davion, working in a laundromat to pay the rent. That's funny because that reminds me of somebody.
Yeah, I did. I worked at a freaking laundromat.
Well, not just that. What age did you get pregnant?
When I was 17.
17.
Yeah.
So you got pregnant technically young. That's still young.
Of course it's young.
And you also worked as a laundromat. And why did you have to work at a laundromat at 17?
I was trying to raise money, make money to talking about my baby, her first house.
Well, when you got pregnant, what happened?
Oh, when I wasn't working there when I was pregnant. That was later.
I know. But when you got pregnant, what happened?
Well, I got pregnant. My father kicked me out. I was 6 months pregnant. He kicked me out.
Yeah.
He told me to, he doesn't care what happens, just get that nigga that got me pregnant to find me a place to stay.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen. So I at the time I was working and in school. I used up all of my savings. I got my apartment, and the rest is history. And I was also working while I was pregnant as well.
You know, I didn't think about this until this very second as you're saying that to me, because obviously we did the corn reaction video. So people are familiar with your dad at this point.
Yeah, possibly.
Do you think in some weird way, and if you're not comfortable with this, I'll cut this out, but do you think in some weird way, because he was attracted to you, that he was upset that you got pregnant by another guy? Because who kicks out their daughter because she got pregnant?
Well, the thing is, my father, I would say both my parents, and I mean, I have a relationship with my mother, and I'm trying to rebuild that. Recently, I started trying to rebuild that, but my father I've completely cut out of my life. So at the time, I was living in the apartment with my father and my brother, and I'm like, well, what about him? You know, he's 19 years old. He has a job. He has a car. What about him? And he said, don't worry about him. He's going to stay with me. You just need to get the hell out by Friday.
But
So
I mean,
I don't know if it was because of that, or if it was because, you know what, that's his favorite child, so.
but that's not favoritism. Not caring about what happens to your flesh and blood, that's
I
different
agree,
than
baby,
that was
yeah.
anger. He was
Yeah, it
angry.
was resentment. Yeah, it was anger. And I mean, I'm like.
And now I
yeah.
question where that anger was coming from.
You know, I never thought about it. I just always felt that he was his favorite child, so maybe.
Let me ask you this. Did he ever express to you that he was concerned about you ruining your life? Or was he just mad that you were pregnant?
I don't recall. I mean, he possibly did, but I don't recall him expressing that, you know, I might ruin my life. He just was angry and just told me I had to go.
Anyway,
So I don't know, baby.
before I get angry, let's just move on.
Okay.
So, she's living with her son.
Right.
She firstly threw herself into helping her mom overcome the drug habit. So I guess after she had her son and she's been living on her own, kind of recollecting her own life, I guess once she felt stable, she wanted to go back and help her mom.
Okay.
So she wanted to help her with her drug habit and get her clean,
That's good.
which I think is sweet.
Of course.
So apparently she was able to help her mom overcome her drug habit.
Really?
And with that accomplished, and a local band project coming to nothing, she was trying to start a band that didn't kind of pan out. In 2002, she made the big decision to go to Los Angeles,
Okay.
which is like 2,500 miles away.
Uh-huh.
So for 2 years, she was working in stores and sang in coffee shops and bars, sustaining herself through dark times, you know, and she has empowering statements tattooed on her arms and her hands, I guess, to remind her of, you know, of the perseverance. So in 2005, she formed In This Moment with guitarist Chris Holworth.
Okay.
After their first attempted band, Dying Star, was not going in the direction they wanted. So Dying Star was the band in 2002 that
That
wasn't
died.
going anywhere. It's a dying star.
Okay.
So it might not have ever
It
lived. I
fell.
don't know.
It
Yeah. So it burnt out.
Yes.
So she started In This Moment. So Maria is a vegan and is active in the PETA campaign.
Okay.
It says here that they're a metalcore crossover band.
Metalcore.
Crossover. So
Meaning, okay.
there's some other genres in there as well.
Gotcha.
Girl power.
Let's do
You
it,
know,
baby.
let's see what it's about.
I'm excited. I wanted more from her since the first song I heard. So I'm excited.
Yeah. And don't judge me if I don't like this song, guys. I like I said, I have a
not
very
judging.
particular style, and sometimes, you know, I think some of the female-fronted bands, the kind of music that they're interested in is just, it's not for me. They don't make it for me. I'm not the core audience. So, you know, see what you think, and I'll see what I think, and we'll take it from there. All right.
Awesome. Let's do it, baby.
hate I found God.
Can't see that.
I'm the girl you're thinking about, the one thing you can live without. Yeah, I'm the girl you've been waiting for. I have you down on your knees, I love you begging for more. You probably thought I wouldn't get this far. You thought I'd end up in the back of a car. You probably thought that I'd never escape. I'd be around in a cage and be enslaved in this place. You don't know how hard I fought to survive, waking up alone when I was left to die. And you don't know about this life I've lived, all these roads I walk, all these stairs I climb. So how can this be? You're praying to me. There's a look in your eyes, I know just what that means. I can be your everything.
Wow.
I can be your heart. I am the child you created. I am the center. I am your heart. But let me tell you something, baby. You love me for everything you hate me for.
I think that voice is really good.
I'm the one that you need and fear. Now that you're hooked, it's all becoming clear. And all your choices that you placed on mine was a reflection of discovery. So maybe next time when you cast your stones from the shadows of the dark unknown,
like
you
just
will
painted.
call up from your hiding place and take a look in the mirror. See that's all that yours face. So can this be? You're praying to me. There's a look in your eyes. I know just what that means. I can be your everything. I can be your heart. I am the child you created. I am the center. I am your heart. But let me tell you something, baby. You love me for everything you hate me for.
Love me for everything you hate me for.
Wow. Her voice is so beautiful, and there is so much passion and so much emotion behind every note.
That was interesting.
Wow. Wow.
That's interesting. That made me tear up a little bit because
So
not
beautiful.
not because I mean the song don't kill me, but the song was kind of generic, but her voice made it different.
Oh my God, I don't think this song was generic at all. But you're right.
She has
Her
this
voice.
raspy,
Yeah.
that it's so effective in portraying
Oh
like
man.
pain and strength.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All in the same. Yeah, at the same time.
Yeah.
Pain and strength. All at the same time, baby. Thank you. That is absolutely correct.
Very, very unique singing style. I mean,
I wonder if she writes all of her songs, or if she wrote this song.
you know, unfortunately, I don't know too much about her than what I've already read to you. But
Wow. Oh man.
you know, she's the front woman, and typically singers tend to write their own material in bands like this. Of course, the band can always help.
You know, that song, you think of it, for me, initially when I heard the title was Whore. You know, I'm seeing her. I think it's kind of deceiving, you know. I think
What were you expecting?
I was expecting something very raunchy and just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
sexualized. And it really wasn't very sexualized. I think it was...
It wasn't sexy at all.
Yeah, well, it was sexy.
She's sexy, but I didn't see anything sexy in that video.
I love dark. I think dark is beautiful, and I think it's sexy. But I mean, the lyrics, I think there's some message there. I mean, at least for me, some of what she said resonated to me with me, and it was a surprise, a very pleasant, overwhelming surprise for me.
Let me give you what I was experiencing when I was watching that, because
you started to cry, and I was.
let me give some context into what I was feeling, because again, the song was a good song. I would definitely listen to this again.
Me too.
Because of her voice and the power she gives to that song. The song itself was okay, but it was her vocals on the track that make me want to hear it again.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And the pain I was feeling was I'm putting a lot of my own context into the video, so I don't know what she's trying to say.
Right.
I got my own story in my head, and you know, most people already know I'm a mama's boy. I was raised by my mom, and I was very close to her before she passed away. She was only 40 when she passed away. I was 19 going on 20. So I lost her at a very young age, but we were very close up until that point. And I have a very deep connection, not just with my mom, but with the female gender in general. And I tend to empathize a lot with what they have to go through when it comes to dealing with us, because any man watching this who's being honest with themselves knows that men are problematic. And when it comes to women, we are problematic to women, especially men who haven't matured or understand what they're feeling inside and what they're going through. And some guys are just dicks. But from a woman's perspective, I tend to not envy their positions. So when I see something like this, and I see a woman who is both empowering herself,
Yes.
but also clearly expressing the pain she feels in the sexual dichotomy
Yeah.
that is initial attraction versus long-term attraction, those are very different things that as you're growing and maturing, you don't know yet, so you make a lot of mistakes and you hurt a lot of people. And that's what I was feeling, all these things, you know. I got a lot more to say. If you want to jump in, let me know, but I can just keep talking if you want, because, you know, I think about my mom when she separated from her husband. She married at a young age, and when they got divorced with my biological father, there was a period where she was alone, and my mom was the kind of woman who wanted to be with a man who wanted to be in love.
Yeah.
I think most people are like that.
Most people are, but a lot of women are.
But it was very difficult to find someone who would give her the respect that she deserved. And as a young boy, seeing her go through that, there was a period where my stepdad, when she finally settled with my stepdad, there was an abusive period where I had to witness her abuse, and it's just, you know, so I've seen some shit, I've seen some stuff, and I've seen the dark side of unhealthy relationships. And it's made me want to be a better man. It's part of why I try to be a better man, and I try to understand why men are the way they are. And it's my understanding that makes it so scary, that it's like I feel for everybody else, because it's like, whoa, it's a lot to deal with. So when I see stuff like that, I'm not putting all that into this video and into the song. So that's why I started to tear up a little bit, because her voice almost represented everything I just said, like in just the tone of her voice, both the sexuality, because she's got a sexy voice.
Yes, indeed.
But there's pain in that voice.
Oh, yes, there is.
There's also strength in that voice, and it's just like, and I felt all that in that voice. So when I heard it, it kind of took me by surprise a little bit, because I didn't really get that from when we heard that Black Wedding song.
Right.
I didn't get this same kind of pain. It was more of a fun, kind of energetic song. This is more of like, tell me what you're really feeling kind of song. It's kind of like, you know.
Yeah, you know, for me, when I heard some of the lyrics and just the pain and the strength and everything in her voice, it took me back to when I was, you know, a young girl, you know. Well, I have not experienced it personally, 'cause I've only been with 3 men in my life, like real relationships. But I mean, my mother, you know, which is one of the reasons why, you know, this is not about my childhood and anything like that. I'm not trying to bring it back to that. But it reminded me, it put me in the mind of my mom as well, which is one of the reasons why I have empathy for her, and I sympathize with her, and I forgave her for turning a blind eye to some things that went on when I was a little girl, because she didn't grow up in a very sturdy, stable environment, you know, household.
Mm-hmm.
So she married my father at a young age, and she was a housewife for many years. My father was very abusive, like physically abusive, verbally abusive, you name it. I mean, he kicked her down the stairs, he kicked her in the private parts, like he was really abusive. And so, you know, I think now as I spoke to my mom a week ago when I went to visit her, and she's in a better place. You know, I was telling you, you know, she seemed like she's a different person now. She seems stronger. You know, her mindset is different. And she was talking to our daughter and I, and she was telling us that, you know, she's been there. She's been in abusive relationships, you know, allowing a man to take, you know, her power from her. And she's no longer, she's elevated, and she's no longer in a place where she's allowing a person to beat her down and to take her power and her strength away from her. And, you know, so, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I feel that I have empathy for my mom, because she was already broken, and she's already a very fragile woman when she was encountering, you know, seeing things happen in our household. You know, it's not right, I'm not condoning it, but I empathize with her, you know.
If I can simplify something, I would say for any young girl growing up, the worth, and this is not a cliche, this is 100% accurate, your self-worth is only what you value it as.
Right.
So if it's valued at $1, I will pay you $1. If it's valued $1,000, I will pay you $1,000. You are the one who sets the value of your worth as a human being to other men, or if you're bi to females, whatever.
Right.
But I'm speaking mainly to men in the sense that they will take what you give them.
Right.
So it's up to you to set the rules, to set the standard, to set your worth and your value, and to make sure it stays high. Because they'll come up there and meet you.
Exactly.
They will. If you make it worthless, they won't respect you. They'll take it, but they won't respect it. They'll respect you up here. They won't respect you up here, but they'll still take it. They'll still take you in, spit you out. It's fine. They might still do it here as well, but you have a much better shot keeping your value high. And again, that has to come from you. It has to come from within. Only you can provide that. But I promise you that you are the one in control always. Never relinquish that control. That's even then. There's still no guarantees, because we are awful. But but
not all of you, but yes, you get the gist.
Listen, I'm not. When I say that, obviously, if you yourself are not awful, that's good. I'm not talking to you.
Okay.
You obviously understand that as a man, you have to work hard to be a good person. You have to work hard to not be violent. You have to work hard to not be promiscuous. You have to work hard to try to go against just some of your natural, human, animalistic, instinctual things of who you are, You have to understand it, and by understanding it, you
Yes.
can decide what's the best course of action.
That's the key, understanding.
You can be promiscuous, you can be monogamous.
Of
It has
course.
to be a choice,
Right.
but that choice has to be also not just by you, but by the partner or partners that you're with.
Of course, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So it's when we all want to have our cake and eat it too, that people get hurt, and you could see like the pain and the anguish in people. That's where pain comes from. If everyone lives their true, honest selves and are as upfront with everyone and stops trying to get away with everything and just live for themselves and live honestly, there'd be a lot less issues and pain, and I won't have to call us all awful if we could all just understand that.
It's about acceptance as well. When you're able to understand, you're able to accept the reality of who you are, and knowing you would understand that your desires are natural. It's okay to have those desires, but understanding that with those desires does not mean that you get to, or you should, freely just do whatever you want without the consideration of others.
Yeah. Don't get muddied up in sin. It's not sin. There is a natural instinct and a natural order to the world.
Yes.
Our only purpose here is to exist, to procreate, to make sure that we don't go extinct. That is the natural order of what have built into our DNA. But then on top of that, we have this newfound intelligence, this self-awareness, and with that we can do so much more. So now we take what's already natural and then we apply our own intelligence to live our lives the way we want to and the way we should. There is no right or wrong way for any one person. There is no religion, there is no family member, there's no one who can tell you yourself how you can live.
Of course.
As long as you are not hurting others,
Right.
and you are living your true honest self,
Yes.
you really can't have other people dictating that for you.
I always say that as long as whatever you're doing, okay, live it, do it, be it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's not adversely affecting others' lives or yours, do it. Be free to just be.
And the golden rule, though, do unto others as they would have done to you. Do not be doing anything to someone else that you wouldn't want them doing to you.
Right.
Don't be a hypocrite. If you can follow those two things, then you are truly living your honest and best self. But if you are doing something to other people that you wouldn't want done to yourself or people you care about, okay, then already that's a good, easy way to say to understand whether or not you are in fact doing something
Stop
wrong.
being a daddy on YouTube. Stop.
I'm sorry.
Jesus. You're preaching to people, Papa.
I apologize.
Slow down. Let's cut this, okay? Stop.
All right.
Moving forward, not sideways.
All right, let's wrap it up. That's,
All right, baby.
that was a good reaction. Thank you,
Boy.
Vicky.
Yes, thank you, my love. You're so wonderful. Yeah, we're going to be knocking out a lot of these reactions, these patron reactions this week. I'm so glad we got the camera ready. So
Yeah.
we're,
Yeah, I can't promise that I'm gonna like the other songs she has, but I will definitely listen to this again, and I dedefinitely enjoyed this one, and I do like what she brings to the table. So
do too.
perhaps with this new
more
light,
of her.
I might enjoy it more. We'll see.
All right, my loves. If you all enjoyed this reaction video, please give us a thumbs up. Comment below. Do not leave without subscribing, and also do please share our videos as well.
Thank you for your support, everyone.
Yes, thank you all so very much for believing in me, for loving me, and investing in me, and what I'm trying to do here on Twitch as well as YouTube. So
That's
thank
right.
you, my love.
And as always,
Keep it metal. Metal forever, baby.
love y'all.
Mwah. Love you guys. Bye.
See you in the comments.
Yeah, we'll see. We're going to be here sitting around for an hour after the video's uploaded, okay? So come
And
to us.
we'll come back time to time as we always do.
Of course, we always do. Thank you all, my love.
Love y'all.
Bye.
I have no idea how much of that is going to remain in
I
the
know,
reaction,
I
but
know.
it is what it is.
Thank you for watching, everyone.